a super rainy day where I am, so I thought while I still had power, I'd come on here and see if we could do some readings. So here we are, smudging everything off. Blessings to all of you. Let's get everything all cleared. All right, and let's see what's going on. Everything off. Okay. All right, so I thought I would start with what's the tea? And see what's going on with anybody who you are thinking about, you know, while we wait for people to come into the chat. You know, let's just pull a few cards, run around the zodiac, and, you know, wait for you guys to come in. All right, I hope you guys are having a great weekend. You know, mine's a little wet. Hi, LA, how are you? Nice to see you. I'm going to pull cards on what's the tea. So we're going to kind of tune in and see what's going on with you, with the person or situation that you are thinking about. We're going to start with Aries and just kind of go through the zodiac until more and more people come into the chat. Hopefully you guys are around. Anyway, I thought I would come on here and just see if anybody wanted to pop on with me. Anyway, how are you doing, LA? I hope you're doing well. Now that he got served with papers, does he think he can win against me? Ooh, big question. Let's find out, all right? Before I even start, and you're the only one in the chat, so why not? Oh, I think a few more people are starting to come in. All right, LA, let's find out. How is Michael feeling now that he's had his papers served? Grateful, thankful for the messages for LA. I'm okay. I don't do very well on rainy days, so I thought, you know, rather than kind of sit here and mope about how cloudy and rainy and cold it is, I would come on here, keep myself a little cheered up. Anyway, let's find out about Michael and how he is feeling, LA. Grateful, thankful for the messages. Now that he's got papers. Hi, Monica. Welcome in. Nice to see you. All right, let's see. What is going on? All right, we got the Knight of Pentacles, you know, so he's not feeling it. You know, when I see the Knight of Pentacles, it's like I think he's kind of surrendered. He's not going to fight you, you know, and I don't think he can win against you. No, here we go. Page of Swords also coming in. You know, I really do feel like I get like he threw up his hands, like, great. You know, it's over. So I don't think he's going to fight you. I don't think he's going to push. I think, you know, you kind of won in this situation. But I got to say, with this Page of Swords, you know, LA, he's going to keep an eye on you. You know, like, it's not over, but, you know, he's not going to really kind of push. You know, he's not going to work to try to shift things around. So it's done. You know, papers have been served. I hope that makes you feel good, because he knows he can't win against you. So I think he's just done. Nice to see you, Monica. Hi, Sandeep. How are you? I'm just kind of hanging out. I was going to pull some What's the Tea cards, but, you know, you guys are starting to come in, and I like it when people come in and start chatting with me. You would love some guidance. I'll be selling your house and not sure if renting would be better or buying. Oh, let's find out. All right, Tia, let's find out. Grateful, thankfuls. Hi, Monica. I'll do you next. Nice to see you, Sandeep. Yeah, I thought you would be happy to see that. You know, he's not willing to push through and do the work, you know, so the win is yours. Yay. All right, Tia, we're going to find out whether or not, you know, you should be renting or it would be better for you to buy. Grateful, thankful for the messages for Tia. Nice to see you, Tia. All right, let's find out what's going on. One more shuffle. Let's do one more shuffle for you. Welcome in, you guys. I'm just hanging out today. No real agenda. I'm just trying to pass the time on a cloudy day before my solar system completely, you know, dies and I've got to whip out the generator, because I have a feeling that's how my day is going to go. All right, Tia. Upright for yes, renting, reverse for no, buying. Upright for renting, you know. I feel like, you know, maybe you should rent first before you just jump in and try to, because the housing market, I don't know where you are, but here is terrible. And again, I don't see you buying a house, you know. So right now, I feel like you're better off just finding a place to rent. Although I got to tell you, the way rents are going, let's pull one more card. You will eventually find a house, you know, but I think, you know, don't jump into a house right away. But look, this Wheel of Fortune, see how it's pointing on a house? I think you will find a house, you know, so at first, you know, I would rent short term, all right? I wouldn't sign any long leases, you know. I would rent so that you could have the time to really find the house. And I think you're going to find a house that you're absolutely going to love, but don't rush into it. So this is why I think renting came up first. You know, because I mean, you're a little anxious, a little stressed about the whole thing, but we also have the Page of Wands coming in reversed. You know, you don't want to jump in too quickly without being able to explore. So, like I said, short-term rental, you know, if you can do like a 30-day, 60-day kind of lease, you know, or month to month, that would be ideal for you because I do eventually see you buying a house. So, just take it step by step, Tia, and it'll be better for you. All right, Monica, what's going on with you? You're searching for a new job, nothing good coming your way. When do we think things will move in your favor? I don't know. Hi, Tammy. Nice to see you. Aisha, hi. Rumi, nice to see you. Sandeep, I'll get you next. Let me do Monica first because you were in the chat before the others. So we'll go in order until, you know, maybe, hopefully it gets really busy. You're welcome, Tia. Good luck with that, you know, but I like that, you know, the Wheel of Fortune shows you in a really great house. So, but, you know, let's get the right one. Let's not settle. I just had a friend of mine buy a house, and I asked her yesterday, I said, so do you like your new house? She's like, yes and no. She's like, but I knew there were things about the house I wasn't going to like, you know, but she rushed into buying it. So don't do that, you know, take the time. All right, Monica, let's find out about your job. When do we think things will move in your favor? Grateful, thankful for the messages. For you, Monica, what can we see coming forth? All right, we got the Ace of Wands coming in reverse to the Eight of Wands. So I don't see any movement towards a job right away. You know, because the Eight of Wands usually says, you know, something that's happening and it's happening quickly. So I don't think you're going to find a job very soon. But I do feel like somebody may see that, you know, you might be somebody that they could have real interest in, especially with that King of Cups when it comes to looking for a job. There could be somebody who could be very interested in you if you are out and about applying. But, you know, I'm feeling like it could be a few weeks before you actually find a job. You know, a lot of times when we see the wands, you know, it could take a little bit of while, but, you know, then I just feel like in a few weeks, you know, you might see more action towards actually getting a job. And, you know, look, this guy's got a telescope and, you know, here's this cat catching a fish. So hang in there, all right? It may not happen right away, but I do see when you finally do get a job, it'll probably be a very good one. All right, so we just have to remain optimistic, Monica. Sandeep, what's going on with you? Investors soon. Oh, that's right. I remember. You haven't gotten anyone to say yes yet? Is this happening within the next month? Well, let's find out. Grateful, thankful for the messages. And I believe I saw a very good investor for you, Sandeep. Right? If my memory recalls me. All right, let's find out. Is there going to be a new investor soon? Haven't got anybody to say yes. What can we find out? All right, we've got the Three of Pentacles coming in reverse to the Three of Wands. Yeah, so yeah, I don't see anybody coming in that would work well with you, all right? When we have the Three of Pentacles energy, this is collaborative, you know, and we see that it's reversed. But I do feel like with this Three of Wands that you are going to actually manifest, you know, somebody towards you. And like I said, I think it was going to be really good. You know, honestly, I'm wondering whether it'll be, you know, in the next year. It may not happen this year. I mean, there's only a couple months left. So it may not happen this year, but when we have this, you know, I see you actually finding that right investor. Let's get another card out here, the Magician. All right, so the Magician card has come out reversed, all right? So you can't force this to happen, all right? Because when we try to force something to happen, then we could end up with somebody who we wouldn't be happy with. So, you know, I'm just feeling like, you know, within the next year, you have a better chance of finding that investor. And, you know, for me, this is a good one. You know, this is the one that you want. Because I did sense that you're going to get the right one, but not this next month or two, all right? Anyway, that's what I got for you, Sandeep. All All right, let's see. Aisha, current feelings of Sunny for you. No contact. Oh, no. Hi, Tammy. How are you? Life's Daily. Nice to see you. We got, you know, our daily, whatever. I'm not a sorcerer. Okay. I'm just a regular old person here pulling tarot cards. Anyway, we have our little life's daily message coming through, so thank you for that. All right, let's see, Aisha, let's find out. Feelings from Sunny. You know, what are current feelings of Sunny for you? No contact. Let's see what's coming through. All right, we have the devil. All right, so I think he feels that you're a little bit toxic. All right, especially when we have the devil energy. You know, it's one of those things, you know, it's just like, even though I think he knows you're not good for them, you know, there's this energy that, you know, he might still be a little bit connected. But Judgment card, you know, I think you're the one having the awakening and moving on. So, you know, either he feels like, you know, you are toxic and is going to move on their way, or you do. But I think, you know, the connection isn't good as, you know, overall. So let Sunny go, all right? Let Sunny go. It'd be better for you. Hi, Loretta. How are you? Hi, Rumi. Eslila, how are you? General reading for Eslila. Oh, wait, there's Tammy. I'll get you next, all right? Eslila, general reading for you. Grateful, thankful for the messages for Eslila. I just love doing this for you guys. Hey, don't forget to hit that like button. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Really makes a difference to my channel, and I would love to see my channel continue to grow. Whenever I come on here live, you know, I seem to pick up quite a few subscribers. Not a whole lot, you know, but it kind of pushes me up. So I sure appreciate that from all of you. All right, Eslila, here is your general reading. All right, card for you is the Four of Swords. All right, listen, you need to rest, all right? You need to kind of get back into your body. And I feel like really reconnect with yourself. Maybe something recently has happened with you. And in this situation, it's kind of left you a little, you know, unsettled. But now it's time for you to take the steps to rest and recover, all right? You know, whatever level that is. You know, if you're not sleeping well at night, maybe put a little lavender on the bottom of your feet. You know, but here it's really asking you to just kind of let things go and, you know, just kind of, you know, remove yourself from anything that has been a little bit difficult. Get out of your mind a little bit too, is what I'm also getting. All right, let's see, Tammy, what's going on with you? You'd like to ask what is coming in or what is important for you to know right now. All right, another general reading. Grateful, thankful. Hi, Divin Shu. I think that's how we say it. I'll get to you. All right, first we're going to do Tammy, though. General reading for Tammy. What is coming in for Tammy? What does she need to know? What's important for her to know right now? Trust your intuition, Tammy. All right, I just saw the Hierophant coming in reverse, you know, because I feel as if intuitively something is being shown to you, told to you, or you just have this feeling that you should be doing something, or, you know, whatever that is. Trust that intuition. All right, we do have the Ten of Pentacles. You know, if it's around a situation where you think it's going to cost you some money, you know, then I would jump on that, all right? Don't put anything off, especially with me feeling like you need to really follow your intuition. You know, it's one of those things. If you have a feeling that, you know, your car is starting to act up and, you know, you should get it looked at, but you don't do it, when it finally breaks down, you're going to be like, you know, I knew I should have done that. Or, you know, if, you know, you need to give yourself extra time to go somewhere, you know, trust those intuitive feelings, because I feel like if you don't, it could end up in, I'm getting repair. Like there could be a costly repair that you have to address. You know, so anyway, take care of it now before it costs even more. All right, Tammy? So that's what I've got for you. Mohammed, can I see my faith? Well, you know, faith that comes from within, you know, so if you tune into yourself and really listen to yourself, then I feel like you have your faith. All right, let's see what's going on for Donna. How are you? Any info on when I will have the financial wish from Olg I've been working on? I don't know what that means, so let's find out whether you get your financial wish. Grateful, thankful for the messages for you, Donna. What can you tell me to tell Donna? Grateful, thankful for the messages for Donna. And listen, if I jump over you, it's just because the chat's kind of rolling. And, you know, I'm not really paying attention to the chat until I finish the reading. But anyway, we're looking for Donna. Want to know if she gets her financial wish. Boy, I'm on the same wish train, let me tell you. Page of Pentacles. No, I don't see that it's coming through. Why not? All right. Don't be afraid to act on things. You know, if you are about to do something, all right, Donna, because these two cards are kind of throwing up a red flag. You know, don't do anything that might be foolish, all right? Especially when it comes to your money or you trying to manifest money. If we turn these around, okay, if we turn the cards around, you know, and, you know, see how he's just kind of flipping a coin? I just feel like your destiny is right in front of you, all right? So if you try to manipulate that into really happening, I think you could get yourself screwed up. All right. But here, you know, we do see that there's this map here. That's your destiny. And there's this other road that I think you need to be taking in order to reach your castle. You know, so don't just go in a direction because this is the way it's got to be. You know, I feel as if, you know, there is another way for you to reach that financial success that you're after. I hope that made sense, because I just feel like there's something amiss. All right. So that's what I've got for you. All right, let's see who's next. Rumi, what's coming in for you in love? Grateful, thankful. Trying not to forget you guys. Hi, Loretta. Nice to see you. How are you doing? All right, Rumi, let's find out what's coming in for you for love. Grateful, thankful. Nice to see you, Margarita. Really nice to see you. Tina, nice to see you as well. I'll get to you as well. But first, we're doing love for Rumi. What's going on for Rumi? What can you tell me to tell Rumi? Now, listen, I also have my, like, what's the tea deck? So if there's somebody you want me to pull the card from here, this is a very interesting deck. I've grown to actually like it. I'm not usually an oracle person, but if there's somebody on your mind and you want to know what's up the tea, what's the tea with them, I'd be happy to pull from that deck. Just let me know. All right. Let's see what's going on, Rumi. What's coming in for you in love? All right, look at this. Look at love is on the way. You know, we have the Knight of Cups. So I do feel like somebody is interested in you, Rumi. Oh my gosh, this could be your person. All right, because whenever I see the King of Pentacles, for me, you know, that's kind of like husband material. Just be careful, all right, because this guy's got his cake and his glass of wine, you know. He may want, you know, he may want more than just you, you know. So just kind of feel him out, you know, and make sure that he is really serious. But I do see somebody coming in towards you. It could be either a water sign or an earth sign, you know, but I think once he finally, like, commits, he'll be a great guy, all right? Because he's, I think, playing the field as well. Anyway, that's what I got for you, Rumi. So I like that. Love is on the way. Hi, Tina. I'm going to do you next. What's coming in for you for love? Grateful, thankful for the messages for Tina. I feel like I got to cut the deck and then shuffle it. So I'm going to do that, right? Got to follow my intuition as well. All right, let's see what's coming in for Tina. What's coming in for love for Tina? Grateful, thankful for the messages for Tina. All right, let's see what's coming in for you, Tina. What's happening for Tina? All right, Tina, this one's for you. What's love got? Oh, look at this. You know, I feel as if, you know, there could be a new person, you know. This could be somebody who is very youthful, very fun, you know, but I do feel like there is somebody coming in towards you, especially with that Fool card, you know, and they may see you as somebody who is, like, really, like, amazing. All right, because you're the Queen of Wands, all right? We love the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands is beautiful, charismatic. People want to be like the Queen of Wands. You know, maybe you even have your own kind of style. But I do feel like there is somebody coming through. It could be an Aries, all right? We do have Aries energy here with this Fool. But, you know, if this person shows up and you're kind of like, I don't know, you know, they seem a little bit young and, you know, go for it anyway, all right? You got nothing to lose. And actually, they really adore you. So I do feel like there is somebody coming towards you, Tina, you know, so run with it, all right? Don't second guess it. You know, in the words of my father, never turn down a free meal. And if somebody's wanting to take you out, sure, go out, you know, get the free meal, enjoy it. You know, you can always leave. I mean, that's my philosophy. It's like, oh, yeah, sure, I'll go out, you know, and if it's boring and it's not happening, I leave. You know, it's as simple as that. I always have an out, in my world anyway. I don't know if everybody is, but I always try to make sure that, you know, I'll drive there so that if I want to leave, I can leave when I want to leave. I never kind of put myself in a corner where now I got to go through the whole night. Loretta, what's going on? What are Brendan's current thoughts about you? Grateful, thankful for Loretta. What's going on? Look, we got 1313 in the house. Thanks, guys, for all the likes, comments, shares, subscribes, all that good stuff. Really appreciate you guys. All right, let's find out, Loretta, what's going on with Brendan's current thoughts about you. How does Brendan currently feel about Loretta? Hi, Roxanne. Nice to see you. And then we'll get you Tara and Margarita. We'll get everybody. All right, but first, we are focusing on Loretta and Brendan's current thoughts about you. How does Brendan feel? Oh, look at this. This is nice. You know, we have the Four of Wands. I think he's a little serious here. You know, maybe you guys are planning on going to an event. You know, it could be a wedding. It could be your wedding, you know, but he's definitely into you. You know, let's see what else we got. King of Wands. Be careful, though, because Brendan could turn out to be a player. All right, so as much as he could be really, really fun and you could really enjoy Brendan, I don't trust him, okay? I just got to tell you how I see it. Whenever my King of Wands shows upside down, you know, this is my player card. This is my player energy. This is somebody who talks a lot, you know, has a lot to say, tells you all the good things. But I don't know whether he always means it. You know, so if he's saying, oh, you know, let's go do this and let's go do this, and then he doesn't, don't be surprised, because I don't think he's always fully available to, you know, take you out. But, you know, he is interested, because here we do have the Page of Cups. You know, but, you know, he is who he is. So just know that going into that with Brendan. All right, who's next? Tammy, we got you. Donna, hi Donna, how are you? Nice to see you. Tara, interesting deck. This is the Everyday Witch Tarot deck, one of my favorites. I have a few favorites, but I got to tell you, you know, what I have learned doing tarot for as many years as I've been on here doing tarot, that, you know, I have some of my favorite decks that I like to use, but when I struggle with a reading, I turn to the Rider-Waite. I go back to the original because there's no confusion with that, because sometimes these all have storylines, you know. So if you do read tarot and you do have these different kind of decks, do not be afraid to default to the original, all right, because it's really a good thing to know. Because if you know the Rider-Waite and you know it really well, these other ones have more depth. You know, just a little tarot tip for those of you out there. You know, I've been on here 9 years. 9 years I've been on here. I'm just now really kind of putting myself out there in a big way. But, you know, do you guys know Tyler from Tyler's Tarot? He's pretty raunchy, but he's a very, very good tarot reader. You just got to get past all of the, you know, cussing and yelling, and, you know, he's a little into himself. But he is definitely a really, really good tarot reader. Him and I started at the same time, and there he is. He now has a mansion, you know, and I'm still struggling trying to get my 2 cars to just run. So I'm hoping one day I can catch up with him. I don't need a mansion. I just want a car that runs. I mean, honestly. Anyway, just a little tidbit about my history here on YouTube. All right, let's see who's next. Margarita, let's find out. Should you trust Jay is working on, or rather go to court? Let's see. Should you trust what Jay is working on, or rather go to court? Oh, okay. All right, let's see if you can trust him. Upright for yes, reverse for no. Let's find out. Grateful, thankful for the messages for Margarita. Should she trust Jay that he is working on something, or should she take him to court? Let's see. Upright for yes, reverse for no. No, you should not trust him, you know, because I don't think he's working on it. And it's funny, when I was reading that, I was like, he's not working on anything, you know. I feel like you're going to end up having to take him to court. Because look, you know, and he's going to regret it. He's going to regret it that he didn't do the work. So, yeah, I do feel like you're going to end up in the legal system. All right, Margarita, because he's not doing it, you know, and I was really, really feeling that. I'm doing good, Roxanne. How are you today? All right, Tara, let's find out. You want to get the tea on Rachel. Ooh, we got the tea coming out. All right, my What's the Tea deck. I got this off of the TikTok shop. I didn't pay very much for it, and at first I was like, oh, this kind of weird deck. But, you know, I've kind of grown on it. It's grown on me, you know, and funny enough, I do find it to be a little bit accurate. But let's find out, what is the tea on Rachel? Grateful, thankful for the messages. For Tara, what's the tea on Rachel? So yeah, if you guys want me to pull from this instead of the tarot, that would be fine too. Just let me know, like Tara did. All right, one more shuffle. Oh my gosh, it's just having a hard time shuffling, but let's do it one more time and see what's coming through for you, Miss Tara. All right, let's see, what's the tea on Rachel? We've got fake accounts. Uh-oh, look at this. All right, so it says fake social media, accounts to spy, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I think this person is stalking you. I think it's probably stalking other people, but I'm getting that they are pretty fake. Let's see what the tarot has to say in regards to Rachel. What can you tell me about Rachel in response to the fake accounts? Yeah, I wouldn't trust Rachel, honestly. You know, I would not trust Rachel. But what's coming out for Rachel? Ooh, look at this, Knight of Swords. See, I have a feeling that, you know, if you were to call her out, she'd get very defensive, you know, and usually when people get really defensive, it's because, you know, you called them out. But I wouldn't trust her. I mean, honestly, Tara, ooh, no. Don't do that. Oh my gosh, too much fun. All right, who's next? Mrs. B or Miss B, what's happening with you and Otho? I don't know. Let's find out, Miss B. Miss B. Who's come in the house? Let's see. We got Tot Batot. How are you? We have Asha. Karmadem. Santana family. All right, listen, we are reading for Miss B. What's happening with you and Otho? What's going on with Miss B and Otho? What can you tell me to tell Miss B? Grateful, thankful for the messages. All right, we got, oh, listen to this. Confusion, lots of confusion. Why are we confused? Oh, Seven of Wands. You know, I don't feel Otho wants to be like backed up. You know, I think that times, you know, he feels a little backed up, you know, because he's like about to fall off a cliff. You know, you're just a little confused. You know, if he can get past this confusion, things will be okay. All right. I just feel as if there is something the two of you have to really work out, you know, because when we have the Seven of Wands, it's about speaking up, you know, and if, you know, you find that he's not being on the up and up, he's a little confusing, say something. All right, because once you say something, we have the Magician coming in, which I think would clear the air and you would actually have a point of direction with him. All right, so that's what I've got for you, Miss B. All right, let's see. What's the tea with Nick, a person that showed up back from the past? Oh my gosh, Tina, let's pull it out. All right, let's see. What's going on with Tina and this guy, Nick? Nick, a person that showed up back from the past. What's the tea on Nick? Grateful, thankful for the messages. For Tina, what can you tell me? Tell Tina about Nick. One more shuffle, all right? And let's see what's going on. You're welcome, Ms. B. My pleasure, my pleasure. All right, Tina, let's find out. What is the tea with Nick? Oh, too busy winning. Too busy getting what he wants. But oh, and then we have kissing ass. You know, this guy is out for himself right now, you know, and I think, you know, there is this need to kind of win you over. I mean, really, that's what came to mind, win you over, Tina. But let's see what the tarot has to say in support of what is this all about being too busy winning. He's after something, though. But, you know, my feeling is if he's come back, you know, he's coming back for a reason. The Lover's card. It's not going to work out, though. I mean, honestly, not with this Lover's card. You know, because I feel like it's about him, you know, kind of having this conquest, you know, like if it was a relationship in the past and it didn't go real well, you know, it's almost like he has to come and prove a point or something, you know, but it's not real. All right. So if he showed up, I think it's more because he has something, he has his own agenda. It's not about you, it's about him. Just kind of checking you out, see whether or not he could win you back. And I don't think he can. All right, let's see what else. Who else is out there? Asha, why are you restless and feel Udimba, your ex is in a fix? Am I right? Will he call you? Oh, I don't know. Let's find out, Asha. What is this restlessness over Uday? Is he in trouble? Will he call you? Upright for yes, reverse for no. Let's find out. No, I don't feel like he's going to call you. Look, this is a manipulator. You know, stay away from people like this, all right? When the magician comes up, the king of wands comes up, and they're reversed, I mean, you know, the devil shows up. I mean, there's just these energies that aren't really positive, you know? So Uday, whatever it is, he's not going to call you, but, you know, is he in trouble? Probably, you know, because he's probably trying to force things to happen. And when we try to force things to happen, what's the result? You know, it usually doesn't happen. So I think let him go, Asha, let him go. All right, Tot, how are you? You just got divorced. Will you get married again? Listen, enjoy being divorced for a while. I got divorced way back in 2008. And I jumped right into a relationship after that for 12 years. It was the worst thing I ever could have done. And then I let go of that guy, and I just wanted to be on my own. And I am just so happy that I'm not in a relationship right now. I know that's not for everyone, but I mean, honestly, after a divorce, take the time. And I like to go in a year cycle. You know, I mean, this is just my suggestion. You know, take the time to remember who you are. That way, when you finally do meet the person, you know, you are there, you are present, you know what you're looking for, you know what you want, you know what you don't want. You know, so don't be afraid to take some time for yourself. But let's find out when you will get married again. Grateful, thankful for the messages for Tot Batot. All right, let's see. You know, look, Queen of Swords coming in reverse. So I don't feel like you're going to get married right away, you know. Yeah, I think you need to take the time, you know, to really kind of come back into your own, you know, because with the Queen of Swords coming up reversed, and I don't know you, you know, but the energy of the Queen of Swords, there's some resentment, there's still some residue from the marriage, you know, and I think you need to process that. You know, so when will you find someone? Five of Wands, you know, and it comes in reverse. I think when you get past that, it's just like what I was saying at the beginning. You just got divorced. Find yourself first, you know, and just kind of remember who you are. You know, this way, you know, when you do meet that person, it's very clear. You know, and the fact that we have the wands and the swords, I have a feeling that it won't be this year. You know, and like I said, maybe later, I get later in the year, you know, later in next year. Because, you know, once you start, you know, moving to your own clip, you're going to be happy. Because on the outside, you know, you're appearing to be happy, but there's a lot still going on inside. So let's process that first, all right? Tot Batot, you're welcome. Let's see, who else is out there? We got Karma Dem. How are you? Let's see, Karma Dem. When will I start my serious relationship with SD? Oh, well, let's find out. Let's find out, Karma Dem. Let's find out. When will you start your serious relationship with SD? Inquiring minds want to know. Now we're all invested. You know that. You know, like everybody in the chat, now we have to find out. When is the serious relation going to take off? And will it take off? Let's find out. All right, Karma Dem, let's find out. Grateful, thankful for the messages for Karma Dem. Look, be patient. All right, here we have the card of Temperance. Everything in its time. Don't push it. If this is your person, what's the hurry, right? You know, but I feel like, you know, just hang in there. I said, it will come, it will happen in its own time. Now, the Temperance energy is that of Sagittarius. So we're moving into Sagittarius here in the next few months. It's October. Sagittarius usually happens, you know, when in November. November into December. So, you know, maybe by then, when we're right about around the holidays, you'll find out that he's going to be a little bit more serious. So hang in there, all right? Be patient, because I do see it happening. All right, grateful, thankful for the messages for Santana family. Will you ever meet your person, Santana? Let's find out. You always see what numbers? You see 222. Well, that's about being in a couple. Now 444, that's being, you know, divinely guided. 1212, you know, these are like the numbers, they add up to like a new beginning, you know, with a lot of balance. You have really good numbers. Those are really beautiful numbers to have, Santana. You know, and the fact that you started with 222, I mean, you know, whenever we see the twos, even in the tarot deck, the twos usually indicate, you know, that there is another element or another person, you know, that we are involved with. So be patient, because I do feel like it could happen. And the fact that you have 12, 12, 12, 22, I'm just wondering whether it might happen, you know, in the month of December, or it could happen in the third month of the year, which would be January, February, March. But let's find out what the cards have to say, Santana family. But beautiful, beautiful cards. Oh, and 555 is a number of change. I was actually born at 5:55 in the morning. Look at this. You know, there's going to be celebration here. And we have the Three of Cups. So I'm feeling more like it would happen next year, you know, maybe around March, springtime. And listen, you're going to meet your person, and your family and your friends. They're going to love this person. All right. So let it happen, all right? Just let it happen, because I do feel like you're going to meet somebody by then. Good numbers. Things are changing. You know, I don't know if there's a lot of change going on in your life right now, Santana, but when we see the number 555, you know, there is a lot of change going on. And once the change has actually happened, I think that's when you're going to meet this person. And they'll probably be part of that change. Anyway, great reading for you. Phoenix, 1111, how are you? All right, let's see. Good things coming in for you before the year is over. Let's find out. You are facing financial hardship. Yeah, you know, let the changes happen. We're all going through a lot of financial issues right now. Even people with money are going through financial stuff. You know what I mean? I'm not one of them, you know, but I'm definitely feeling, you know, the pinch. Although I have a feeling that things are going to start to turn for me in a better way. I just got to hang in there and be patient as well. Because I'm about to apply for my Social Security. Yes, I am that old. You know, and that'll just help me just cover my expenses so that maybe I can start to do more of a hustle. All right, let's see. Phoenix, 1111. I am reading for you. Am I seeing good things coming in for you? Give me the positive for Phoenix, 1111. Let's see what's going on for you. Grateful, thankful for the messages. 9 of Wands to the Death card. You know, you're at a point where you got to end something, all right? And when you finally end whatever it is and you go through this new door, I mean, you're hanging on to something by a thread, all right? And I think it's wearing on you. And when I see the 9 of Wands coming up, sometimes we need to just cut our losses. And here, this guy needs to just cut this thread with this Death card. So I think as soon as you end something, good things are going to start to happen. You know, because right now that's your big block, right? Phoenix 1111, you know, and I feel like, you know, it's a distraction and it's holding you back from moving forward to where you're going to find the good things that you want. You know, these are big cards, all right? This is major arcana. This is major arcana. So this is a big shift and a big ending that has to happen. And, you know, you're just kind of hanging on to it, you know, but you're left with only one wand, right? You know, all the others have been exhausted, you know, so at some point, just cut the cord, be done with whatever it is and go through that new door, because that's where you're going to find new happiness, you know, and I feel like you should do it before the end of the year. All right. So that's what I got for you. Malik, how are you? Nice to see you as well. Mini Sushi. What about Pisces zodiac, like literally? What will happen to you? Because life sucks. You know, for a lot of Pisces, I think it really is bad right now. Really. I know a handful of Pisces, and they're all struggling. So let's find out, all right, Mini Sushi? Let's see. When is life going to look good for you? Let's see. What can you tell me to tell Mini Sushi? You're welcome, Phoenix. I hope you know what that ending is. Mini Sushi, what's going on? What can you tell me to tell Mini Sushi? Hi, Danish Bot. How are you? Oh, I skipped your question. See, didn't see it. All right, let's see. Mini Sushi. We have the Ace of Pentacles. You got to stay focused on what you want. All right. So listen, when we have this energy of the Ace of Pentacles, the aces are a gift, all right? And here there is something that you need to stay focused on, all right? If you can remain focused on what you're after, and then go for it, that's when you're going to start to feel things shift a little bit, all right? But I think some distractions have come up. Life sucks, like you say. Things are coming up for a reason, and I feel like it's pulling you away from your focus. You need to get back to what it is that you are really after, all right? Because look how focused this person is. It's like they got this coin, that sun is behind them, and then we have the Fool card. So I think, by the time we reach Aries season, because this represents Aries, and we have this Ace of Pentacles, and this is looking like a little springtimey. So I think by the time we hit Aries season, all right, the end of March into April, things are going to be much better for you. So hang in there, all right? Just hang in there. All right, listen, Danish Bot. What's your question? Put your question in so I know. I'm not going to go backwards. So stick it in the chat room, and when you put it in there, Danish, I will pull your question, all right? Nita Gupta, how are you? Should you give him a second chance? He never cheated but hurt me a lot over the immaturity. Now he says he will change. What should I do? I think you should let him change. I just did a reading. Who was it for? I don't remember. But I just did a reading about that, where, proof is in the pudding, I mean, they can talk about I've changed. Well, show me that you've changed, and then, things can move on. But let me get to Danish Bot over here. And then I'll pull a card for you, all right, Nita? All right, what caused the distance between you and your best friend? What is the current energy or reason behind our silence? What is the future? We both are men. All right, Danish Bot, let's find out. Grateful, thankful for the messages for Danish. What can you tell me to tell Danish? Nice to see you, Anna. All right, listen, this is one of these things, they want it to end, and I think that's the distance. Why Queen of Pentacles? Because I think, there was more feelings coming up than just, friends. And I think he didn't want that. I mean, honestly, because the Queen of Pentacles is like my wife card. I know you're two men, but, it's that kind of energy, and it's reversed, and I think before it got more serious, my feeling is that he is the one that had the feelings developing, and before it got any deeper, he's kind of pulled back, so let's see what happens from here. The Devil. Yeah, he didn't think it was healthy. So that distance between you and them, I mean, that toxic energy is what he was feeling. And I think, honestly, I keep feeling it's coming from him. I think he's getting in his own ways, and he's probably lost a really good friend as a result of that. All right, Danish, that's what I got for you. So let's go back to Nita. Let's see, you won't give him that, but bad karma. What's my POV? I don't know what POV means, but let's pull a card for you, all right, Nita, and find out if he really will change or he won't change. Upright for yes, reverse for no. Welcome in, Nicholas. Hi, Desiree. All right, listen, he's not going to change, And I feel like, you can't wait around for him to change. What you see is what you get. And it's like what I said, person can say, that they've changed all day long, but until you actually see the change, and that takes time, you shouldn't believe it. And I feel like, just move on, because I don't think he's worth the wait, honestly. All right, let's see who else is out there. We got Malik, Anna, Nicholas. I read for you, Mini Sushi, already. You feel great now? Oh, good. Desiree, nice to see you. Nicholas, nice to see you again. Hi, Puck Gardner. How are you? All right, let's see, Malik. Is there any messages for you from Spirit? Let's find out. I always like to pull messages from Spirit. Let's find out. Grateful, thankful for the messages from Malik. What can you tell me to tell Malik? What messages are coming from Spirit? All right, let's see. What's going on, Malik? One more shuffle and we'll cut the deck and we'll find out what the message is for you. All right, message from Spirit from Malik. All right, we got the Four of Pentacles, you know, so you're hanging on very tight to something. Finances might be a little tight, you know, it's one of those things. I feel like, you know, you want a little bit of relief. So when we have the energy of the Four of Pentacles, sometimes we need to not be afraid to open up in a way that, you know, we usually kind of hold ourselves. You know, because traditional tarot, you know, the arms are crossed. Here he's sitting on this chest like, I only got this much money, so I don't want to spend it. But sometimes you got to spend it, all right? So don't be afraid, you know, to open up and spend some money, you know, with reservation. And the next one is the Queen of Swords, you know. I mean, you know, everything in its order, all right? But, you know, if there is a need for you to have to open up in some capacity, whether it's financially or with somebody or, you know, just do it, all right? Because to hold back, you know, I think that's more of a fear, all right? So don't be afraid to open up, all right, Malik? That's what I got for you. Nicholas. Nicholas would like a couple cards, so let's pull a couple cards. Hi, Buck. How are you? We got Puck Gardner and we have Buck. I wonder if you guys are friends. All right, let's find out. Nicholas, you want a couple cards, like good things are coming your way. Let's find out. Grateful, thankful for the messages for Nicholas. Are good things coming his way? Only good things. Only good things for Nicholas. What can you tell me to tell Nicholas? Oh, okay, look at this. You know, you're about to complete a cycle, Nicholas. I like this, the World card. You know, because this is you being able to finally relax and kick up your feet, maybe even go somewhere where you can enjoy some time. I like that you are ending a cycle. And here we have a Justice card. Maybe it was around a legal situation you were dealing with. You know, I still think that there's a lot of arguing over some issue. But for the most part, I do feel as if, you know, things are coming into balance. And I think you do see an end to a situation that needs to finally be over. Here we have the Emperor coming in reverse. Yeah, see, if you're dealing with somebody who doesn't like that, you know, you're moving on, that could be a little bit difficult because I do see this came after the World card. You know, this Emperor, don't let him control you. Whatever you do, you know, when it's over, it's over. The end, you know, and no matter what they say, it's over, all right? So hold your ground. That's what I feel for you, all right? All right, let's see who else we got out there. Desiree, you recently started something new for work. However, it's going really slow. Should I continue or go back to my previous work? Oh, my goodness. Yeah, good luck with that, Nicholas. But enjoy the end of a major cycle, all right? You know, because a new beginning awaits you. All right, let's see, Desiree. What's going on? Things are going really, really slow. Should you continue or go back to your previous work? I got to tell you, don't go backwards. Always go forwards. We have the Five of Pentacles. Hang in there, all right? Slow and steady goes the ship. Okay, things aren't working right. This is the Five of Pentacles. This is you not having what you need, not having the money, not having, you know, the support, not having what the things that you want. But the fact it comes in reverse says that that's about to change. So don't give up before the miracle happens. All right, so hang in there. And I just definitely don't feel like you need to go back to a previous job. You know, you left that job because you believed in what it is that you were doing. And I do see that you will eventually pull out of that and start to have some success. All right, so hang in there. All right, hang in there. Oh no, Nita, you know, you not giving him a second chance isn't your bad karma. That's on him. You know, I mean, he needs to prove to you that he has changed, you know, so to just give him a second chance isn't giving him the time that he needs to change, you know. Down the road, we'll pull another card and see, all right? But right now, no. Right now, you know, there's no bad karma I see on your end. Oh, good, Puck. I'm glad you're feeling good. You know, I don't know if you had the same experience as me, you know. When we have something going on and we have that surgery and then we finally recover from it, it's really amazing to realize how much energy that thing, whatever it was that had to come out or had to be shifted or changed, took from us. So yeah, a lot of good healing energy coming towards you from me. But let's pull you a card, all right, Puck? Let's see what's coming out for you. Grateful, thankful for the messages for Puck Gardner. Would appreciate a card or two. Let's see what comes out. What can you tell me to tell Puck? Welcome in, you guys. Anybody who's just popping in. If you're new to my channel, I am Raven Blackstar. Hit that like button. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. I love to read for you all. I love to do my cards. You know, like I said, I have been on YouTube for 9 years, and I'm not giving it up anytime soon. You know, if anything, I'm just going to keep going with it, because just like you, I'm going to not go backwards. This is what I want to do, and I'm just going to hang in there, knowing that eventually it will take care of me. All right, Puck, but let's see what's coming through for you. Grateful, thankful for the messages for Puck Gardner. What can you tell me to tell Puck? All right, listen, we got the Queen of Wands coming out to the Devil card. So, you know, Queen of Wands energy, I love it, you know, because this is you really being, you know, who you really are, all right? Male or female, it doesn't matter. You know, the Queen of Wands is an energy that's very charismatic, very charming. People admire you. You know, so don't get caught up in anybody who is not good for you. All right, you know, you are better than that. You are better than the devil energy, you know, and somebody is trying to tempt you, you know, then what you need to do is, you know, just kind of stay true to you, all right? Because I think, you know, there is a lot to be admired. I mean, you're holding this bouquet of flowers. I think people really, it's like they want a part of what it is you're doing, you know, and if you've lost a lot of weight, you're very inspirational. But don't let temptation take that away from you, all right? Just keep going, all right, Puck? Congratulations. Congratulations. All right, let's see who else is out there. Buck. We have Puck Gardner and we have Buck. So we got to read for Buck. You're in the clouds and have seen the light so good. Don't know what that means, Buck. But I'm going to pull a card for you and see what in the world does that mean for Buck. You know, you got to keep you guys together. You kind of like go along together. All right, Buck, listen, I got the King of Cups coming out for you. So I feel like, you know, you're a good catch. You know, whether you realize it or not, you know, I feel as if you are a good catch, you know, and I think somebody's got their eye on you, Buck. You know, and I think people see you as somebody very kind, very loving, emotionally stable. I mean, you're solid. You're really solid, and I think there is somebody who is interested in you. So don't second guess that, all right? Because this card just came out. I mean, if you are in your head wondering if I'm good enough or this or that, you are. If anything, you know, I don't think you realize how special you really are, Buck. So I like that for you. I really, really like that for you. All right, let's see. Go Frugal Hip Chick, how are you? What a great name. I love your names, you guys. Sometimes I don't know how to pronounce them. Hi, Candy. How are you? I'm doing well. Puck, you'd rather weigh 170, not 137. You're a skeleton. Find a happy medium. All right, Puck? All right, let's see who else is out there. Nita. Let's see what's going on. Hi, James. Stop playing with cards made by man. Read your Bible. Is not the Bible made by man? I believe so. Okay, get the real answers you are looking for. Listen, the kingdom of God is within. So remember that, James, you know. And listen, you want to preach your stuff, you know, get your own channel. I mean, I'm happy to, like, do what I do here. I don't bother anybody. You know, so, yeah. You know, Bible's man-made. So anyway, moving on. All right, let's see what's going on. Nita, I'm going to go ahead and read for other people who haven't been here. Let's see what's going on. James, we're going to, you know, if you stay quiet, I'll let you stay in the chat. All right, Pooja. Does Ragul Krishna, after seeing you, is he thinking about you positively or is he missing you? Let's find out. how they are thinking about you. Grateful, thankful for the messages for Pooja. What can you tell me to tell Pooja? All right, Pooja, here you go. All right, you know, listen, he's not interested. This is the Page of Cups reverse. You know, usually Page of Cups is like somebody, you know, who wants to start something with you romantically. And I just don't feel like he's got those feelings for you. So don't invest yourself, all right? Because I don't want you to see you get hurt. But I think, you know, he's okay if you let him go. Is he missing you? No, I don't feel like he's missing you. And intuitively, I think you know that. You know, this is not your person. So just let him go. Just let him go. All right, Candy, how are you? Let's pull a card for you. And then I'll do Go Frugal Hip Chick, because I just love your name. You know, it actually sounds a lot like me. I'm very frugal and I'm a hippie chick. So there you go. All right, Candy, let's pull a card for you. Grateful, thankful for the messages for my Candy Apple. Always a bright spirit in the chat. Thanks, you guys, for all the likes, the comments, the shares, the subscriptions. Really makes a difference to my channel, so I appreciate you all. All right, let's see what's going on for Candy Apple. Can you have a general reading? Absolutely. All right, Candy, this card's for you. All right, we got the 8 of Pentacles coming in reverse. So either, you know, you need to break a cycle that you've been hanging on to. For you, you know, I wonder whether or not, you know, it has to do with work. If you haven't been working, you know, the Page of Wands says you got to get up and go out there and get a job, you know. But I do feel as if, you know, it's time for you to break an old cycle, an old pattern, you know, get out of, you know, what you've always done and start to do something a little different, Candy. You know, it's just like if you usually get up and make a cup of coffee, why don't you get up and drink a glass of water first instead of making a cup of coffee? It's just like find a little change in your life, you know, to kind of break out of a cycle that I think, you know, needs to be broken. Let's get one more card. So you're hung up, you know, and a little confused, you know. So again, I'm just kind of feeling like, you know, you need to kind of shift and change your life up a little bit. Do things that you don't usually do, you know. If you always do the same thing in this order, do something out of order, you know, and just see how that feels. At first, it'll be a little uncomfortable, but, you know, it may invite some interesting energy into your life. All right, Candy Apple? So that's what I feel for you. All right, let's see. We're going to my go figure, my frugal hippie chick over here. Let's pull a card for you. Grateful, thankful for the frugal hip chick. What can you tell me to tell the frugal hip chick? Uh-oh, I skipped you, Roxanne. I'll get you next. All right, let's find out. The frugal hip chick. What can you tell me to tell the frugal hip chick? Grateful, thankful for the messages for the frugal hip chick. All right, let's see what's coming through for you. And we have the Page of Wands. You know, it's time for you to get out and explore. All right, the Page of Wands, you know, wants you to start something different, you know, but you got to go out and find it. And I feel like, you know, this is one of those things. If, you know, you've been wanting to do something and you haven't done it, go do it. All right. If you always wanted to go uptown, you know, but you kind of stay in your own little neighborhood, then go uptown, you know, and just see what it is, you know, get in your car and kind of drive around. You know, this is an energy that says go out and explore. Go out and do things that are different. Just like Candy Apple, you know, get yourself out there, you know, and change life up a little bit. Because this is the beginning of what I feel is a new cycle for you with the Page of Wands coming in, because the page is a new beginning, usually brings good messages. So why not, you know, get yourself out there and do things a little different and start to explore new options, new places, new ventures, new people. And that way, you know, you can, you know, really enjoy yourself. All right, that's what I got for you. All right, listen, we got to get rid of some of these people who just don't have a positive, you know, they just don't have a positive message, you know. We just don't want these messages, you know. I'm a good person, you know, so don't try to tell me I'm not. All right, because I know who I am. All right, let's see, Roxanne. What's your question, Roxanne? Well, Nita, I already pulled for you, all right? So give me a chance. I try to answer everybody who did not have a reading first, and then I'll go backwards, you know. But right now, I am reading for Roxanne. Do your parents have any messages for you? Ooh, let's find out. Any messages? I feel like your mom does. But let's see what comes out. What messages does Roxanne's parents have for her? What can you tell me to tell Roxanne? All right, messages for you. 5 of Cups. They want you to enjoy life, all right? If you've been depressed, because the 5 of Cups energy is a little down, a little dark, a little depressed, here is the 5 of Cups coming in reverse. It wants you to get out and live life a little bit more. It wants you to enjoy life. It wants you to be happy. You know, and the fact that it comes up like this for you, Roxanne, I feel like, you know, you're on that cusp of, you know, changing things a little bit more so that you are happy. There could be somebody you know, who might be pointing out, you know, here's the King of Wands. This guy's very creative, very entrepreneurial. They're very worldly. There could be somebody coming towards you that could open some doors, you know, and maybe lift your spirits a little bit. But I feel like, you know, with these 2 cards, Roxanne, be open to the possibility that there is somebody out there that could inject a little bit of life into you. So, you know, open up. Be happy, get out of the funk that you're in. And I feel as if, you know, if you do want to take a trip somewhere, because the King can sometimes indicate a trip somewhere, then what you can do is, you know, explore it. If you've been thinking, oh my gosh, wouldn't it be great to go here? Go there. You know, this is about you really kind of enjoying your life. And I think your parents want you to enjoy yourself and get out of a place where you may not always are so happy, you know. And don't worry, be happy. I mean, really, that's the message I just got. All right, Roxanne? All right, let's see. Yeah, if you want to have a personal reading, you can reach out to me. You could just email me, ravenblackstar1111@gmail.com, and we can talk about it. All right, Nita? All right, let's see. Anyway, that's what I got for you. But, you know, don't be afraid to explore life, Roxanne. You know, it's funny. I'll tell you something, because I feel like we got a little connection, you and me, Roxanne. The other day I woke up and I was just really down. I mean, there was no reason for it. I just woke up that way. And I went for a long walk. Came back, still felt really funky, went for another walk, you know, and on the second walk, you know, I was like, what is wrong with me? Why am I feeling so down and out? And I realized that, you know, I want more joy in my life. You know, and I feel like that's a message for you as well, Roxanne. It's just like, you know, it's time to inject more joy into our life. And believe it or not, a little later after that, you know, my friend called me up and she wants to know, she's like, you want to go to Mexico? I'm like, heck yeah. You know, so she booked a couple tickets for a few of us. And, you know, in February, we're going to Mexico. And I was like, wow, you know, just that thought of I'm going to go somewhere brought some joy to me. So I just wanted to share that with you, you know, that, you know, just kind of hone in on saying, you know, don't be afraid to say it, put it out there in the universe. Like, what's wrong? You know, it's like, I want more happiness. I want more joy. I want life, you know, to kind of, you know, be lived. I don't want to be just stuck in my little house here, you know, because I am a real hermit, believe it or not. I like to come on here, but I am a hermit by nature, and I've got to get myself out there, you know, and then I could be a little bit happier. Anyway, that's what I got for you, Roxanne. Prima, how are you? What is your husband's feelings about you? Uh-oh. All right, let's find out, Prima, what your husband's true feelings are about you. Grateful, thankful for the messages for Prima. Let's find out. Prima, what's going on? What are your husband's real feelings towards you right now? Let's see. All right, for you, we have the Knight of Pentacles. You know, I think he wants to offer you something. I mean, here he's got this coin. He might have a real idea about doing something, you know. I mean, he's willing to do the work, you know, so I think you've got a good person. I think he's really solid. I think he's really grounded. I don't think you always know that, you know, because the Knight of Pentacles is somebody who, you know, they're not flashy. They're not out there. You know, you got to sometimes wonder, what are they thinking? You know, but they're worker people, you know, and I feel like, you know, overall, you know, he's got real good thoughts for you. I don't think they're anything bad. Let's get another card. You know, I think you are the one that needs to accept, you know, his offers. I think you need to open up more to him, you know, because I see him really trying, but I see you a little reserved and a little closed up, you know. So be the Queen of Wands, you know. He admires you, he loves you, you know, but he doesn't want you to be jealous. He doesn't want you to feel all kinds of ways, you know. He's in your corner, you know, he really is, you know. So that's what I feel about your husband and how he feels towards you, Prima. Hi, Desar. I was going to say Desiree. Desar. I know how you feel. You're a bit of a hermit yourself, right? You know, I'm good with my own company. The problem is I spend too much time alone, you know, and, you know, I'm not looking for connections or relationships. I'm happy, you know, just doing my thing. But, you know, I need more in my life. And I have a super great community. The problem is that they live so far away from me, you know, so, yeah, I've got to make more of an effort to get myself out there. Shadan, how are you? Nice to see you. Welcome into the chat. Nice to see you. So listen, I've got 15 people in the chat. Nita, you know, we'll talk on another level. I want to continue, you know, pulling cards for people that I haven't read for. You know, so listen, Shadan, if you have a question or you want me to pull a card just in general, let me know. And if any of the other 15 people that are out there, you know, would like a reading, you know, put it in now while I'm here. I'm just going to be on a little bit longer. Thanks for the subscription. You know, like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, you know, really makes a difference to my channel, and I really appreciate it. All right, let's see. Who's next? Roxanne. You've always been a homeboy outside of work, so I do get the hermit. Yeah, open up. You know, life is to be lived, Roxanne, and we got to get out there and live it. All right, let's see. Nina, I already answered your question way back at the beginning. All right, you know, so listen, you really want me to do something, tip me. All right, you want a reading so desperately. You know, I do this for nothing. I do this out of the goodness of my heart, you know, and I'm just trying to get everybody a chance, you know. So, you know, you want a personal reading, you know, I gave you my email, you know, you really want me to jump in front of all these other people, throw me a 5 spot, you know, do something like that, you know. Anyway. All right, let's see. Desar, your husband and I have been waiting for a home upgrade. Is it coming soon? Let's hope before the rain hits, right? Hi, Shine. How are you? Hi, Mandy. Nice to see you again. All right, grateful, thankful for the messages. For who am I reading for? I don't know. Desar. Oh, the home upgrade. Hi, Michelle. Welcome in. Your husband and you have been waiting for a home upgrade. Is it coming soon? Grateful, thankful for the messages for Desar. What can you tell me to tell Desar regarding the home upgrade? Knight of Wands, you know, I feel like there's distance before that's happening, because notice we have the dragon here and then this is way over here. You know, so the upgrades, it's going to be a while. I don't think they're going to happen for a while, you know, maybe later in the fall. But, you know, right now I'm just feeling like it's not going to happen right away. You know, if anything, you know, I know you're wishing for it and you really want it, maybe by summertime, you know, but I just don't feel like it's going to happen right now. Right now I'm feeling like there's more issues going on that need to be addressed before the home renovation. But here we see you in the summertime, you know, and we've got the wish card. So, you know, I'm feeling more by summertime that'll happen. All right. All right, let's see what's next. Shadan, how about your new job, a new place, and your business for this month? Grateful, thankful for the messages for Shadan. What can you tell me about your new job, your new place, and your business for this month? it will be great. When it finally happens, you know. You know, better to do a renovation when you're really ready for it, you know, because if you're not really ready for it, because I don't know if you know, like me, renovations never go the way you think they're going to go. There's always hiccups that come up and things like that. So that's why I'm feeling more in the summertime it will happen. All right, how about a new job, new place in your business for this month? Shadon, let's pull a card for you. What kind of energy do we have? Look at this. It's going to happen. You got the Magician card. I mean, you have all the tools in place for success. So I think you're going to have a really great outcome when it comes to your work and what you're doing and all the changes. So good card for you, Shadon. You know, it's going to be great. All right? It's going to be really, really great. Are you going to meet a new long-term partner, Michelle? I don't know. Let's find out. So Nida wants to know how much I charge for an online reading. Well, that all depends. You know, if it's just one question, you know, I usually charge about $25. But if you want a full reading, then we're looking at $125. All right, Nidia? So it just all depends. All right, let's see what's going on for you, Michelle. You want to meet a new long-term partner. Will that happen soon? I don't know. Let's find out. Well, welcome in. It's your first time. It's nice to have you in. Don't forget to hit the like button. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all right, if it's your first time in. All right, Michelle, let's find out. Are you going to meet a new long-term partner? Yes or no? All right, listen, I do feel like you're going to meet someone. You could meet somebody, I don't know if you're in school or some kind of intellectual kind of place, you know. I mean, we do have school books here, but I do feel like that's where you're going to meet your person. And I think the person that you meet will be your intellectual equal, which is really great because that means you're going to have great conversation with this person. Are you going to meet them soon? Well, I don't know if it's going to be soon, all right? But I do feel like by next year, you know, I'm feeling more in the springtime, you know, not right away. But when you meet them, you'll know because intellectually they're going to really challenge you. And I love that for you. So, yeah, there is going to be someone. Just hang in there. X3166, you're a new subscriber. Well, thank you. You have a question. Will you ever receive my last paycheck? Employer mailed it 2 times in mail and it's been lost twice in transit. You're anxious. All right, let's find out. Will X3166 ever get the paycheck that they are after? Grateful, thankful for the messages. Will you ever get it? Will you ever, ever, ever get that paycheck? No, I don't feel like you will. And I don't think they sent it. Honestly, I don't think they sent it the first time, and I don't think they sent it the second time. And if you really want the paycheck, I feel like you got to walk in there and demand it and have them cut it right on the spot. But if they're going to keep saying that they're going to mail it, I don't think you're going to see it. So that's what I feel about that. Yeah, you know, I really do. I think you need to go in there and say, you know, I'm tired of waiting. I need my paycheck, and I would like it cut right now. And see how that goes for you. But if you keep waiting for them to mail it, it's not going to happen. All right, let's see. Oh, my God. You're going to Extinct Universe. Happy now, everyone. Chin up, chin up, chin up. All right, Michelle, I hope that worked for you. Who else is out there? Mandy. Oh, let's find out. Will your work will go okay? Let's find out if your work is going to go okay. Yeah, no, I had the same kind of situation come to me, X, and, you know, finally I had to go in there, and they're like, oh, I'm sorry, you know. But don't wait for them to send it. All right, let's see. Mandy, let's find out. How is your work going to go? Grateful, thankful for the messages from Mandy. All right, listen, we got the Hierophant coming in reverse and the Justice card. You know, there could be some legal issues that come up with your work. I don't know what that means, but here we have the Hierophant. If you are working with someone, whether you have like collaborated, because look at these 2 cats arguing, and here we have these 2 people, but it's upside down. I just feel like there is a real disconnect between you and someone, and you guys don't agree on something. You know, and, you know, we got the Law card here. Let's get another card out here. Nine of Pentacles coming in reversed. Yeah, there could be, you know, the work could have some loss of money. And it could be as a result of somebody that's involved in your work or as a part of your work, because here the Nine of Pentacles shows instability with finances. You know, and again, there's this energy of it not being all on you. So I just would be really careful, you know, and be really on top of anybody that you're working with, because there could be something shady going on. So I hope that helped, all right? And the Hierophant coming in reverse is also about you moving on in your own direction and not just giving in. You know, so that could be the argument. So I hope that makes sense. All right, Mandy, I do. But, you know, there's issues, all right? So it's not all on the up and up. Zara, how are you? You're a new subscriber. Thank you for subscribing. Will Ali and Zahara start a romantic relationship? Let's find out. Grateful, thankful. Hi, Tracy. Welcome in. Another new subscriber. Thanks for the likes, the subscribe, all of that. Really grateful. I'm happy to be here as long as I still have internet. It may go out here soon because it is really raining. And if it does, this might abruptly end. So forgive me if that happens. But it has been a cloudy, cloudy day. That's why I'm on here, you know. It's just like this is helping me pass the time. All right, let's see. Zahara. Will you and Ali start a romantic relationship? Upright for yes, reverse for no. Let's find out. You know, listen, I think you would, but I think if there's a lot of people around, you know, if you're going to start a relationship, do it in secret. All right. And I don't mean like secret. I mean, just don't let people know that you guys are going out, you know, because I think people will have a lot to say about the two of you together. You know, but I don't feel like it's going to work out in the end because we do have the Ace of Wands. There's just not enough chemistry to have this really take off the ground, you know? So, you know, before you think it's going to turn into something, I just don't feel like it's got a long-term, you know, kind of lasting energy to it. So he may not be the person for you, all right? You know, even though you would like it. And like I said, I mean, there's a lot of people have a lot to say about it. But the fact that I've got this Ace of Wands coming in reverse, I just don't feel like there's enough chemistry between you, like I call it the glue, to actually make it work. So, you know, just protect yourself, all right? Don't get too invested in someone, you know, if it's not going to happen. All right, let's see. Tracy, how are you? Will you be moving soon? Let's find out. All right, let's see what's going on for Tracy. Tracy Spear, what's going on for Tracy? Will you be moving soon? And like all the rest, upright for yes, reverse for no. All right, look, I do not see you moving soon. If you did, it would be very costly. So you really need to think about that. This is the Ten of Pentacles coming in reverse. And to make a move right now, like I say, I just feel like it wouldn't work out for you and you would find yourself really in a financial crunch. So I would stay put. All right, Tracy? Honestly, that's what I got from those cards. All right. Good, Mandy. Make the changes at work that you need to make it fun. I mean, you should enjoy your work. I mean, yeah, it's always going to be a job, you know, but you should always like your work, right? You're welcome, Tracy. Sanvi, is that how we say that? Love guidance. Let's see. You recently had a breakup. Hi, Roxanne. Thanks for the $2. I really appreciate you, Roxanne. Really appreciate you coming in. I really feel the connection between you and me. Anyway, I just love to read for you. All right, let's see what's going on for Sanvi. Love life, guidance, breakup, done recently. Let's see. Let's find out about love life guidance. What can you tell me to sell, Sanvi? And thank you guys, all the new subscribers. It's been really fun. Really appreciate it. I really do appreciate it because, you know, the algorithm picks up that, you know, you guys are liking, that you're subscribing, you know, and you're sticking around because it's not just about honestly, when it comes to like getting, you know, seen on YouTube, it's about people actually watching you. Like, you can't just turn it on, hit the like button, because that doesn't count. He wants to see that you've watched it. I want to say like 3 minutes is like the cutoff. And if you watch it 3 minutes and the algorithm's like, oh, somebody paid attention. It's really crazy. All right, let's see. I appreciate it, Roxanne. Listen, you know, in Spanish, algo es algo, you know, and every penny makes a difference. I have a coin jar that is finally completely full, and that's my Mexico jar that I'm going to take, you know. So I believe in every little bit really makes a difference. So I appreciate you, Roxanne. You know, one day I hope to give back in a big way. All right, let's see. Love guidance for Savani. The breakup has recently happened. Listen, you're a good catch. All right, Savani. You know, so this is a good energy. All right. You know, move on. All right. You've had the breakup, but you're a kind woman. You're very loving. You're very caring. You're very nurturing. And I think there's other people. I mean, there's a lot of fish in this sea. And I think, you know, you need to move on and know that, you know, somebody else would love to actually be with you, you know. So if the breakup happened, it's for your best interest, you know, because I think somebody better is just going to come along here. And especially with the Queen of Cups energy. I mean, you are a lovely, lovely person, you know. So just believe that and know that you are a good catch. All right. So there will be somebody else. All right. Cheer up. You know, breakups are hard, you know, because it leaves like this empty hole. But it's an opportunity now for you to grow into you again, you know. And like I said to someone else earlier, don't be afraid to take some time to be, you know, with yourself, you know, and remember who you are. All right, let's see. Who else is out there? Your job is ending. What can I tell you for the next move? All right, we got Michelle James. Your job is ending. What can you tell me the next move? What's the next move for Michelle? Grateful, thankful. No, Michelle, I don't have a web page, but, you know, I do have an email. So if you ever want to reach out, it's here. I'll put it in the chat because it seems like a lot of people want to know. It's Raven Blackstar 1111 at gmail.com. All right, so you can reach me there if you ever want to. All right. All right, let's see, Michelle. What can I tell you about the next move regarding your job ending? All right, listen, something better is coming along. We have the 10 of Cups, you know. So I think, you know, oh, look at this, and we have the Empress. Are you pregnant? Are you going to be pregnant? Are you expecting? I mean, we have a lot of family energy here. Maybe you know somebody who's going to be pregnant. You know, but I feel like your next move is in a family way. I mean, these are two very family cards, you know, so I don't know if that's in the plan. But when it comes to work, yeah, I just don't see you working right away. You know, I think when the job ends, you know, you find another life. But listen, here we have the Star card at the bottom of the deck. I love this. Hang in there, you know, because I think something much better is coming towards you. All right, Michelle. Jose Torres, how are you? Will you ever achieve the goal of celestial eye? I don't even know what that means. But let's find out. You can't have any more, then maybe there is somebody around you that's pregnant. I mean, there's definitely, so the other thing, you know, with the Empress card, it's about birthing something into creation, you know, so you may not go out and find a job, but you might create a new job for yourself, you know, where it would be more where you could be at home, you know, you could hang out, you would have more of a life. So if it isn't pregnancy, you know, it is an act of creation. So you could be creating a new job for yourself. Like this is me. This is my creating a job for myself. It doesn't pay very much, you know, but it's a job I love to do. All right, Jose, let's find out. Will you ever achieve the goal of celestial eye? Upright for yes, reverse for no. All right, let's see. All right, listen, you know, this is what I've got for you. I see that you need to stay focused on it because I think there's a lot of things that distract you from reaching that goal of having the celestial eye, you know. But when I do see the chariot, I think you're in the right direction and you have to trust that. Just don't get distracted because the distractions are keeping you from really reaching your goal. But yeah, I do feel like you will one day actually achieve that. All right. So that's what I got for you. Yeah, go slow, Mandy, when it comes to, you know, step by step with this new business. Valerie, how are you? Candy, I'm going to jump down to people who I haven't read for yet, okay? And I know I pulled a card for you, so maybe towards the end. All right, Valerie. Baby, please. You would like to have a baby? Let's see. You need to know if your lover Molly will return or at least call you. All right, let's find out. All right, Valerie. That's more of a question that I can handle. Thanks, Candy. Really appreciate you. We got to be patient, you know. I'm trying to get through everybody. But anyway, thanks for the likes, the comments, the shares, you know. Thanks for doing all of that for me. All right, let's find out. Valerie. Need to know if your lover will return or at least call you. Grateful, thankful for the messages for Valerie. Upright for yes, reverse for no. Will he call you? You know, listen, we got the moon card coming in and it is reversed. You know, I feel like he's not going to call you. You know, I just think that, you know, what's done is done. I think, you know, he's not going to necessarily come back. Five of Swords. And if he does, there's going to be a lot of arguing. It's just not going to be good. So honestly, Valerie, you know, he's your lover, you know, and, you know, you want him to call, but, you know, I just feel like, you know, you've given a lot to this, you know, more than you should have. I mean, I think you're the one that has sacrificed yourself to be in this relationship, and they're not worth it, all right? I just got to tell you what I'm getting, you know, they're just not worth it, Valerie. So I really feel like it's time for you to move on. Six of Swords, you know, coming in reverse, you know, to kind of stay in this energy is just going to keep you troubled. And here's the thing, you know, when we're waiting for somebody to call us, we're not living our life. We are sitting back waiting for someone and life is passing us by, you know. So, you know, go out and live your life because he's not worth the trouble. You know, you are worth more than somebody. You want somebody who wants to be with you. You want somebody who wants to call you. You want somebody who wants to be around you, not just for the sex, but because they enjoy your company, you know, and I feel like this person wasn't into that. Anyway, that's what I got for you, all right? All right, David Price, you are now officially on the list. What is it that you want from me? I will be happy to pull some cards from you, David, and then I think what we'll do is we'll jump back up to Candy and I will call it a day because I've been on here 86 minutes and 21 seconds. That's a long time. All right, let's see. David, what's your question? Grateful, thankful. Grateful, thankful. All right, Michelle, I'll pull one for you too. I'll pull one for you because I'm still waiting for David to respond with a question. Or just a general reading. Just let me know, David, all right? All right, Michelle, let's find out. Will you ever be in another relationship with someone new? Let's find out. Let me cut the deck and reshuffle. All right, Michelle, let's find out. David's now put his question in, so I'll get you next, David. All right, Michelle, let's find out. Will you ever be in another relationship? You know, Three of Pentacles. I think for now you're going to be on your own. You know, Seven of Pentacles also. You know, I just feel like it's not going to happen right away. You know, I think you will eventually be with someone, but be very careful with their energy because the person that I see coming into your life, this King of Pentacles, they're a little shrewd, they're a little greedy, they're going to demand a lot from you. Is that really going to be the relationship you want to hang on to? So I do feel like you are going to meet someone else, and it could be somebody new. It could be somebody from work. You know, but just be careful because I don't like this energy because this is somebody who it's all about me and, you know, and they don't have time for you. I mean, that just came in. Just like they're not going to have time for you. You know, so don't give yourself too much energy into this next relationship that's coming up. What follows that? The World card. Yeah, because I think it'll be a hard one for you to kind of let go of if once you get into it. So yeah, just know that the next person, and it could come up during, you know, Capricorn season, because I did sense a Capricorn energy with that king. So it could happen the end of this year, the beginning of January. You know, just know if you feel like they're always busy, or they're always doing something else, or they're canceling out on you. You know, I think, you know, it's all because they're very greedy and they're all about money. You know, they're not so much about love. So just keep that in mind with this next person that's coming through for you. All right, David, let's get a general reading for you. So any advice you can give me to give David, please, 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 please. Hi, Gary. How are you? Nice to see you. All right, let's see. David, what's going on? A general reading for David. He needs a little bit of advice on a relationship, so it's not so general. Let's find out. What can you tell me to tell David regarding his relationship? Advice. 3 of Wands. Stay positive. All right. When we have the energy of positivity, you get positivity. But I do feel like, you know, you need to really cut the cord. All right, because there's somebody else out there that's better. So if you are dealing with someone and it's been really, really difficult and you've been hanging in there and the relationship is not changing, it just kind of remains the same, don't be afraid, because you're hanging on by a thread to a relationship that I feel wants to end. And I do feel like there is something much better and someone much better behind it. Let's get another card out. Yeah, and that will be the person that you will marry. That's somebody who will be really, really good for you. So, you know, we got to let go of someone that we know isn't going to work for us. I mean, relationships take work, you know, but it takes 2 people to make it work, you know. But if it's a constant struggle, you got to look at that too. And I'm just feeling like, you know, you have been struggling in this relationship and it's been really, really hard. And it's time for you to cut that cord, you know, just snip it and then trust that something much better, something that you really want, that person, they're going to show up, because I feel like the next person is somebody that you will actually marry. All right, so don't be afraid to cut the cord. All right, David, that's what I got for you. All right, Gary, let's see. Anything going to happen with you, with the book that you wrote? Well, congratulations on writing a book. Grateful, thankful for the messages. For Gary, Candy, are you still out there? Because after I finish with Gary, I am going to end it with you. All right, Candy? All right, Gary, anything going to happen with that book that you wrote? Grateful, thankful for the messages. What can you tell me about the book that Gary wrote? All right, let's see, Gary. Let's find out. All right, listen, the Knight of Wands. Don't be afraid to put it out there, okay? Because here with this Knight of Wands, it's reversed. You know, so if you have been wanting to do more and put it out there in a bigger capacity, I think you should. There could be some legal issues that come up that you need to attend to. I don't know what your book is about, but here we have legal stuff that comes up around that book. That could be why you are holding back. Do what you got to do. And I'm feeling like, you know, when it comes to legal stuff, when we do anything, you know, make sure it's copyrighted. Make sure you have a patent on it. Make sure that, you know, you are protected so that people don't steal what it is that you have. But I feel as if it's time for you to put it out there and do what you need to do when you do put it out there, that you are legally protected. You know, like, believe it or not, I have a patent on my name, Raven Blackstar, you know, because I have always believed that one day I'm going to make it big, you know, so I went ahead and I had a patent put out on my name, you know, so if anybody tried to do it, I could always go after them, you know, and say, no, that's my name and you can't have it. So I've got a trademark, you know, so do something like that. I just feel there's a legal thing that you need to do with your book. All right, that's what I got for you. All right, Candy, we are ending it with you. And if, you know, Santana, I know I already pulled a card for you. Come back on another day, because I am really getting drained and I can just really feel myself getting depleted. So I'm just going to end it with Candy real quick. I don't know what your question was, Candy. And then I'll be back. Or, you know, listen, just connect with me, you know, via email, and we'll see what we can do, right? All right, grateful, thankful for you, Candy. What is your question? What is the card I'm pulling for you, Candy? All right, Candy. I don't know what it was, but I'm going to pull a card for you. See, this is what I mean. I'm already feeling drained. Listen, Candy, good things are coming. All right. We've got here the Wheel of Fortune for you, Candy. So good things are coming. All right. If there's things going on in the house, or maybe you need to find a home, things of that nature, I feel like something really good. The Wheel of Fortune has turned in your favor. So that's a great way to end the reading with my friend Candy. Thanks again, Roxanne, for that $2. Really appreciate you. Have a wonderful day. And listen, you guys, I appreciate each and every one of you that has tuned in, given me a like, a new subscriber. I will be back. Stay tuned for my readings. Tarot Today comes on every single day. I post it here Mountain Time at 6 a.m. So wherever you are in the world, you know, when it's connected to my 6 a.m. If you're on the East Coast, it'll be 8 o'clock. And if you're on the West Coast, it'll be at 5 o'clock. You know, just know that every day I've got something that I put out there to you guys. So thank you for the likes, the comments, the shares, the subscribes, and just being a part of my life. I really appreciate it. Thanks for making my day. I'll see you guys all later. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye now.